let's look at a few examples of vectors. So remember, a vector graphically is a arrow or a ray starting at an initial point and ending at a terminal point. So graphically, again, that's what they're going to look like. We're going to draw these arrows, and we can express them as in component form. So the component form, it has the vector brackets, which looks like sort of like a less than and a greater than symbol, and then it uses an x and a y component, an x and a y value. So the horizontal component and the vertical component. So you could almost think of those in terms of like rise and run. So like when we think about slope. So run would be the horizontal component, rise would be the vertical component. So in our first example here, we are given a vector on a graph, and its initial point is at the coordinate -2, -3, and its terminal point is the point 2, -1. So again, we just need to find how far it travels horizontally and how far it travels vertically. So from -2 to 2 is a distance of 4. So that's the run, that's the horizontal component. And then it travels from -3 up to a -1 in the y direction. So that would be a rise of 2. So vertical components 2, horizontal components 4. So to write it in component form, again, we're going to write 4, 2, and that is contained within the vector brackets, which again sort of look like a less than and a greater than symbol. They're technically not those symbols, but they look kind of like it. All right, our second example, again, we're given a vector on a graph. And so we see this arrow, and it starts at the origin, so 0, 0, and it is extending to the point, the terminal point, -2, 3. All right, so in this case, it's extending to the left. So the run, the horizontal component, would be a -2, and then it's still going upwards a distance of 3. So that would be a vertical component of 3. So we could express this vector as -2, 3 contained within the vector brackets. All right, let's look at a couple examples trying to graph vectors. So in the first example here, we have the vector in component form -1, -3. So to draw a vector in standard position, we just start at the origin and we draw, you know, the horizontal distance based on the horizontal component, and then the vertical distance based on that vertical component. So in this example, -1, -3 means we need to travel 1 unit to the left and then 3 units down. And so we're going to have a vector starting at the origin and ending at the point -1, -3. All right, one more example here. We have the vector -4, 2. So that means we're going to start at the origin. We are going to go 4 units to the left and then 2 units up. So we're going to start at the origin and we're going to extend to the coordinate -4, 2. And so that's how we draw vectors usually. Again, we don't have to start at the origin. It's usually easiest just to do that though. The vector then corresponds to the coordinate of the point that we're going to.